riding high, laying low. I've got no better place to go. Share another cigarette, hold me like a tourniquet. Screaming out the melody, make it something nice and sweet. Breathe for the moment to stop. Living your life so light. When you're a bullet from the borderline, nothing's gonna change your mind. Never, I'll never be on suicide. When you're a bullet from the borderline. All our friends, this town's forgotten. Brain dead from Oxycontin. All times on easy street, cut up like a piece of meat. Ain't had a wink of sleep. Muddy rivers running deep, waiting for the morning to stop.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. I gotta come out and take care of my chores, and you can see we got some baby chicks back there in our chicken tractor that require me to come out and feed them and water them every day. So on the other night's podcast, we did some talking about self-sustainability, homesteading, growing your own food, and I figured I guess it was time to do a little Freedom Garden update. Now, you might have heard Sarge talk about a 200 by 200 square foot area is enough to grow enough food for a single individual adult. You can actually feed a couple of adults off of that, depending on what your consumption rate is. But here, let's do a quick garden tour, and I'll show you what I've got going on in my home garden. And then we'll jump over to my secondary garden that my buddy that I'm raising the cows with put in for me. And I'll show you what I've got going on for Paul's Perfect Pickles, for the pepper garden, that is. And yeah, let's do that. We'll start over here in the hard garden section. We got our tomatoes in. These are all the beefsteak variety. Now we grow them up and then tie them off to the trellis. I like to trellis my tomatoes. They look nice. We got a row of marigolds in. Those ain't doing too hot just yet, but they did just get planted last week. Got a row of cayenne peppers in. Yeah, I know, they're still a little tardy to the party, but they just got planted. And then we got us a row of cucumbers in. And I know. And then we get into our raised beds. We've got 3 4 by 8 foot raised beds that we typically plant more tomatoes in. Yeah, this over here are, I want to say these are Roma tomatoes. We want to make some salsa this year. And then we got another variety of tomatoes. I can't remember if these are big boys or beefsteaks. And then we got a few more peppers growing in here, trying to keep the weeds under control. And then we don't even want to talk about this bed. This bed didn't get much done with it. There's a little bit of garlic growing in there, but unfortunately I had bad chickens last fall that got in and decided to replant the garlic wherever they wanted it at. And it just didn't do very good. And then we got one single potato plant. That potato plant kind of just volunteered for us. I guess I missed one last year at harvest, so we got a couple free potato plant out of the deal. There's our peach tree. Never has yielded any peaches that were edible, but it's a good pollinator. It brings a lot of bees around in the spring. Here, check out, this is our OG chicken coop. This one is about 4 or 5 years old now. Not huge by any means, but it was definitely a do-it-yourselfer. That was the first time I ever actually tried to build anything, so stop judging me. It's not the best, but it's a far cry from the worst. You know, they got them some water out there. We got some solar-powered lights on the back of it to deter predators. And check these guys out. Shut up, Fred. Fred's our new rooster. He's a commie cocksucker. And then here's the little box that they live in. Again, another DIY-er. You know, I just happen to have the materials on hand to be able to throw it together. It's nothing beautiful, but it keeps the predators from getting to the birds and gives them a nice place to get in out of the weather and do their thing. Because, you know, chickens do what chickens do because that's what they do. Give us another one, Fred. There it is. Thank you, Fred. That's our breeder rabbit. We're still trying to find a proper buck for her. She's a big bitch. Yeah, you got this little guy over here. This is more of a pet than for meat consumption. As you can see, he's, you know, there's some meat there, but not enough. He's a little guy. Like I said, he's more for a pet than he would be for consumption. Now, that New Zealand rabbit, she is a really good breeder. She's of good, healthy stock and produces a lot of babies when she does get bred. I want to say our last breeding with her, we ended up getting like 7 or 8 babies out of her, which was pretty good. But we do need to get another buck for her to bump uglies with. That way we have the proper breed. Looks like I got a piece of fence down. You guys want to go with me and help me put this back up before the chickens get out? Let's do it. We use this Premier One poultry net. And you can electrify this stuff. We've never put the solar charger on it, but you can totally electrify that. The one thing that we've noticed with our Micro Homestead is that typically if you've got chickens that are getting out, you've got one of two problems. You've got bad fence or you've just got bad chickens. Typically, if you've got bad chickens, even if you fix your fence, they're still going to find a way out. Sometimes you just get a chicken every now and then that just refuses to stay in. And, you know, you either deal with them yourself or a predator ends up dealing with them. Shut up, Fred. Commie cocksucker. We got a garden, we got chickens, we got rabbits. You know, we've got to start at sustainability. You know, every little bit that you could take away from the corporate cocksuckers at Kroger and Walmart and keep in your pocket is definitely going to benefit you in the long run. Let's jump over to the secondary garden and take a look at Paul's Perfect Peppers. Wow, that whole time warp thing, that's some cool shit. So here we're over at my buddy Justin's place, and as you can see, he's got a 75 by 50 foot, I think it is, big ass garden plot that he put out here. And he was kind enough to allow me to come out and put in a bunch of peppers and cucumbers to be able to make Paul's Perfect Pickles with this fall. It's going to take a couple of months for all of this stuff to get its shit together and be able to produce enough for me to be able to get through a couple of months. But we'll get there. We'll get there together. Yeah, together. So what we're going to do today is I've got to get these cucumber plants trellised. They are starting to grow out and get a little shaggy, so I want to get some trellising in here train the cucumbers to grow up the trellising. It keeps everything off the ground. It gives us another day or two extra to be able to harvest before the bugs and animals and critters get to it. And it physically or aesthetically looks pleasing to the eye when you look out and you see that fence row all covered in vegetation and yummy vegetables growing off of it. So
living your life.
we got the fence trellising up. So what we're going to do from here is we're just going to take our cucumber plants and just kind of lean them up against the trellis. The tentacles, the tendrils, not tentacles, it's not an octopus, it's tendrils, will grab onto that fence and it will keep itself up there. And then every couple of days for the next week or so, I'll have to come out, make sure that it's continuing to grow up the fence. And then once it gets so far up, it'll just take off and start doing its own thing. I only have to train it for maybe 4 or 5 days a week at most, and then it'll start doing its own thing. So we're gonna run through here and get all of these cucumber plants pushed up onto the fence to where they can do their thing. And then I'll show you guys how the stirrup hoe works. Yeah, I brought a hoe with me. Find the long stems off of it and push it over towards the fence, and the plant will figure out what to do. You know, that's what all them tendrils on these are about. But they'll take the fence row and do what we want them to do because they're good cucumber plants.
Yes.
They're not spoiled libtard cucumber plants. I do what I want. I live at home with my mom and dad until I'm 25. Oh wait, you do that.
I'm 20.
Oh, so you do plan on moving?
That's the plan.
All right, so we got the cucumbers trellised. Now we got to get this weed problem under control. Justin did an awesome job coming through here with the tiller yesterday and took out a lot of the overgrowth on weeds. But it gives me an opportunity to show you guys about the stirrup hoe. This is not a new tool by any means. This has been around for years and years and years. Some of your grandparents may have used it, but more than likely, they used the traditional hose that my parents used and my grandparents used. I happened to see a video online of some homesteaders that recommended this, so I bought one, and it works great. Instead of beating the soil to death and wearing yourself out, it just takes everything down so nice and easy. All them weeds are busted up now. Now they can compost and become happy little fertilizer for our plants and make me beautiful, beautiful peppers. And as you can see, it's yanking everything up by the roots too. It's not just chopping it off. I do like the rototiller method better though. There's a lot less effort involved in that. I recommend to everybody, you should get you a friend like Justin that'll come out and do half the work for you. All right, get back down through and look at what we got. And then you can look down through at what we still have. In just a matter of a couple of minutes, we were able to take those weeds down to almost nothing. No pesticides, no herbicides, no shit like that goes in to any of our garden stuff, whether it be for Paul's Perfect Pickles or for Justin's family, because he's doing this for the same reason that most of us are doing it: sustainability and healthier food. So I think that's what we've got today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, be sure to leave me a comment in the description, in the comment section below. Forgive me for my inability to speak correctly today. Till next time, live your lives to the fullest. Anything less is an injustice to yourself and every single person around you. There's nothing to it but to do it. Stay free, America, if you can. It's time to shut up and shoot. Hi, here we go.
I got a baby blowing over with the demon inside, yeah.
Straight Shooter Coffee, the official coffee of Therapy Range.